So today we're going to be talking about something that I want to react to. And I'm only going to react to part of it because, man, all I'm going to say is that the players, I kind of like seeing these things. And I actually really enjoy these videos. So this is a clip from a video. It is a clip from, I think, is it called Player's Choice? The Player's Choice podcast, and they do all these kind of debate things. And again, this is a podcast, I was actually meant to have been on that. Was it a year ago, maybe? I was meant to have been on it back in the day, in my DBG days, but obviously, look, this has only got 4.2k views, so it hasn't done anything major, but basically, this is just like a debate show. It is a debate show talking about Caitlin Clark, and I am not even going to show all of it because I do think that it's best to go and watch the whole video yourself. But this is one clip that I'm like, is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. And this is where you're getting the title, the old Caitlin Clark hater exposed. And again, it is just the same arguments again that people will say over and over and over again. Anyway, let's take a listen here. This is, again, obviously just a 1 minute clip, a 15-minute long video. So go watch the whole thing if you want to see this guy getting taken apart by this. Because, yes, there are a lot of negatives. Like, well, not negatives. There are arguments to be made, you know, that Caitlin Clark isn't the best WNBA player right now. But, man, some of the crazy things on her game, it reminds me a little bit of the anti-LeBron stuff. But anyway, let's take a listen.
Triple doubles?
Hey, why do we not care about triple doubles?
I don't care about no triple doubles.
Okay.
2 triple doubles, Bowden. She has a 100% record of wins with triple doubles, by the way, and both were against playoff teams, and one was against the Liberty.
Hey, all right, so you don't care about that. He doesn't care about anything that Caitlin Clark does. I don't even think he watches Caitlin Clark. The only thing he wants to do is talk about the turnovers, which is cool. Okay, can we talk about the gravity? Can we talk about the gravity?
What gravity?
Talk about turnovers. They're serious. If you stopped watching after game 10, and by the way, she got her pocket picked quite a lot in the first 6 or 7 games, especially Dejanay. Dejanay just kept picking her pocket. But how many turnovers after game 10? I think she averaged something in and around like 4.5 turnovers per game to nearly 10 assists per game. So after game 10, she was a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. And as well as that, how many turnovers were dead ball turnovers? As in, how many times did she just throw a pass too hard and it get thrown out of bounds? Because there's different types of turnovers. Just saying the turnovers, it's so serious, but I'm like, and the all-time leader in turnover rate means more than turnovers, and her turnover rate isn't that bad. As in, for the amount of passes she makes, for the amount of time she has the ball in her hand, her actual turnover rate is not bad at all, to be honest, considering how many times she assists. And as well as that, like, if, let's just say this hypothetical situation, the other teams played a high degree of difficulty defensive on her. So let's just say she gets blitzed, and let's just say, again, hypothetically, you're looking at a point guard who doesn't get blitzed, and they come off a screen pretty easily, and then they're able to just do what they do. But Caitlin Clark gets blitzed every single possession. One of every 10 possessions a turnover. 2 of every 10 possessions, she hits Aaliyah Boston on the roll for a score. 2 of every 10 possessions, she gets her own score. And then 2 of every 10 possessions, her getting blitzed is she finds Aaliyah Boston, who finds Kelsey Mitchell. So in this hypothetical situation, she gets stripped once, she turns the ball over, but has created 6 scoring opportunities. But in the other scenario where she's not getting blitzed and she's not getting pushed up hard, she's not turning the ball over, but has created 0 scoring opportunities. Do we understand why all turnover numbers and just counting turnovers doesn't matter? Because yes, early on in her rookie season, I will fully admit Caitlin Clark was very careless with the ball. People were like, Caitlin Clark's really careless with the ball. She's not. She's not. Everyone's saying, oh, in the playoffs in game 1 against the Connecticut Sun, she did a good job keeping her turnovers down. She just didn't have the ball in her hand. You know the easiest way to do you want to know the easiest way to keep your turnovers down? Don't do anything. Don't touch the ball. That is actually the easiest way to get turnovers down. Touch the ball less. There's no one who had the ball in their hands other than like Enrique who just shot every time. Or shoot. Don't touch the ball, or every time you touch it, shoot. That is the 2 best ways to keep your turnovers down.
Gravity. Kelsey Mitchell's gravity?
I'm glad you brought up Kelsey Mitchell.
We're going to talk about Kelsey Mitchell's gravity? That's what
about
Kelsey Mitchell's gravity? They were leaving Kelsey Mitchell open. She scored more points than she ever has in her career on crazy efficiency. They literally were leaving Kelsey Mitchell open.
What? You said gravity.
This is the highest scoring season that Kelsey Mitchell's ever had.
Kelsey Mitchell was chopping before she got into
This is the highest scoring season.
Kelsey Mitchell was popping before she got to Indiana. Kelsey Mitchell had a 5-win season in Indiana. She never won more than 13 games in a year. Kelsey Mitchell's record, if I'm not mistaken, for Indiana was something like, if I'm right in saying it was like 50 and 200, something along those lines.
She's ever had. This is the most efficient she's ever been. This is the easiest it's ever been for her ever in a WNBA season.
Yeah.
Why? Because she has the best passer in the WNBA, giving her the basketball.
Maybe.
Because she has the best shooter in the WNBA, giving her gravity. When Caitlin Clark crosses half court with the ball or without the ball, everybody on the defense.
Can that not go both ways? Can that not go both ways for Caitlin too? Since she has Kelsey over here.
Yes.
It does help her.
Okay, so
It helps both of them.
Is Aaliyah Boston not dragging her? No.
No, that's the Aaliyah Boston's defender blitz. Caitlin. They didn't guard Aaliyah Boston. That's when Aaliyah Boston became so dangerous. They didn't guard her. They literally did not guard her.
And Aaliyah Boston is looking very well too.
And that's because of Caitlin Clark?
Absolutely. So where do you think her 8 assists go to? Lexi Hall in the corner? It's to the person that she passed to in the crowd. That's who she's getting assists for.
No, those are the turnovers.
Oh my God, this is clearly someone who does not watch basketball. This is clearly someone who doesn't watch basketball, and that's the best thing about this debate. This is clearly someone who does not watch basketball. Like, all you have to do is listen to Kelsey Mitchell. Like, that is the craziest thing. It's like, that is just the thing with not watching basketball. You just said Aaliyah Boston is drawing double teams. Aaliyah Boston does not drawing double teams at the 3-point line. They literally left Aaliyah Boston open. And that was the thing where it's like the Fever were so effective because it is pick your poison. And by the way, Aaliyah Boston, like, unless it's Tina Charles, it doesn't seem like she kind of struggled scoring with her back to the basket. But when Aaliyah Boston started firing all cylinders, it was in the pick and roll with Caitlin. And then because of the gravity of, in fairness, Caitlin and Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi to an extent by the end of the season, they were able to get Aaliyah Boston. And it's so funny where it's like you've got this big three whose play styles all complement each other. And I have to give Aaliyah Boston so much credit for her ability to adapt. You've got this big three, and it's like, but what about Kelsey Mitchell's gravity helping Caitlin? It's like, yeah, obviously. Like, do people not realize that when Aaliyah Boston suddenly turned into this passing big after the Olympic break, they stopped being able to blitz the screens with Caitlin, and she set her career high like 3 times? Like, I think she had 3 30-plus point games post-Olympic break, including a 35-point game, which is actually more than Cheryl Swoops ever scored, which is always hilarious in a game. But yeah, it's so funny. It is actually so funny that people just don't. This is when you don't understand basketball. It's literally like saying, trying to say is like, it's like trying to diminish Magic Johnson by saying, well, I mean, Magic Johnson couldn't have done anything if he didn't have Byron Scott on the floor with him. If he didn't have Michael Cooper on one wing locking down, he didn't have James Worthy, and he didn't have Kareem to dump the ball into. He wouldn't have been as good. Yeah, no shit. Michael Jordan, if he didn't have Scottie Pippen, if he didn't have, Steve Kerr, BJ Armstrong, Craig Hodges at different times hitting shots and Rodman cleaning up on boards, he mightn't have been as good. Yeah, obviously. LeBron, if he didn't have these players, obviously, like, it's not a one-on-one game, and ironically, Caitlin would be a terrible one-on-one player. But this is a hilarious one, because you can see just by this guy, I actually have a feeling that this guy he is there to be a debater. Like, you could tell with these clips, he's losing. You just know he's losing in these clips. You just know he's losing when he's like, Aaliyah Boston getting that gravity in this inside. And I'm like, man, Aaliyah Boston barely touched the ball with her back to the basket against any team other than like the Atlanta Dream. Or when for some reason the Phoenix Mercury started Natasha Cloud on her at the start of the year. Or early on in the year. Like, And in fairness, actually, fourth quarter against the Sun, the third time they played them when they got blitzed. But yeah, it is always a funny one. It is always a funny one seeing stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, that is the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Shout out to Player's Choice. You can watch the entire video on their channel. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.